Hi, this is Joy Hawkins from IBM Support. This video will provide you with the information and tasks needed to assign Impact users access needed to work with Impact operator views. Because these operator views are custom, they can look many different ways. So for this demo, I'll use the System Operator View that is installed with Impact, the Maintenance Window Management Operator View. I've already placed this operator view in a custom Tivoli integrated portal or tip page and tip portal to use throughout this demo. The objective of this video, once finished, is to provide you with enough information to apply these methods to your Impact system. You'll create a user, assign roles, assign page access, and assign portal access. Let's start with the first task, creating users. For the video, we will create two users, an operator and an administrator. We'll begin by going through the steps to create two new users, Test ID 1 and Test ID 4. Start by logging into the tip console with the ID that is authorized to create an Impact user. We will use the default user for this task, tipadmin. Put in the user ID tipadmin, its password, and then log in. For the task, from the Task Navigation panel, select Users and Groups, Managed Users. This will open the User Management Search for Users window. Click on the search to display the current user. From the results displayed, you can see this lab system is very basic, using the file-based user repository instead of the object server or LDAP user repository, and only a total of 3 users. Note that Impact users on a normal system would be from either LDAP or Omnibus, and generally only the tipadmin user is from the file-based user repository. To begin creating a new user, select the Create button, which will open the User Management Create a User window. Fill in the required fields, user ID, first and last name, password, and confirm password. You can also click on the Group Membership button. This will open the User Management Group Membership window where you can search for available groups using the search and then selecting from the list of groups if you want this user to be a member of the group. There are not any groups for this demo system, so in this case, the user doesn't have a group to select. So we're finished with the group membership, so we'd click Close to bring you back to the Create User window. And when you're finished with this one, you click Create. So here you can see I filled in the first user ID's information, Test ID 1, first name, last name, and entered the password. And then I'm selecting Create. The user is successfully created. From here, you can create another similar user or close. I selected the Create Like to create a second user's information and clicked Create and then Close. You can see the list of users has grown. Not only is there Test ID 1 and Test ID 4, but I also added Test ID 2 and 3. Now let's test the new user IDs. After logging out as tipadmin and then logging back in as Test ID 1, the new user, Test ID 1, has a very limited view. The welcome page, my startup pages, credential store, and change password. Very basic and nothing to do with Impact. Now the second task is to assign roles to each of these users in accordance with their access requirements. During install, NetCool Impact sets up a few roles for Impact users in the tip. These Impact roles control user access to navigation pages in the GUI and also permit users to unlock their own files. Let's review the roles we need to assign to our two new users. The operator needs Impact Op View User, and the administrator needs Impact Admin User and also Administrator. First, we'll assign Impact Op View User to Test ID 1. This grants access to the operator view and event isolation correlation nodes in the navigation pane. And for Test ID 4, who's our operator view administrator, we'll assign this role gives access to the full Netcool Impact menu navigation. Users with this role can unlock their own policies, services, data model files, and any files locked by other users. We will also assign Test ID 4 an additional tip role, Administrator. This role will allow access to the pages and portlets under the Settings node and grant the ability to create, edit, and delete custom pages, portlets, and views. For this demo, we are going to review the steps needed to add roles to users and then view the resulting effects once the roles are added. However, in practice, where there are many more users that need to have access to Tip Console and its various applications, best practice is to create groups and assign roles to those groups and then make users members of those groups rather than assigning roles to individual users. In this slide, you can see I'm logged in as Tip Admin, and from the navigational pane, I selected Users and Groups, Managed Groups. Next, I pressed the search key to load the current groups. As you can see, on this demo system, we have 0 groups, but this is the route you would take to create groups. Then after creating groups, you would work in Group Roles, which is under Users and Groups, to add the roles to your groups. Now, the steps needed to assign roles to users. You would log in as Tip Admin or an administrator that has access to assign roles. Then from the navigational panel, select Users and Groups and User Roles. The User Role window opens on the right. Now fill in at least one of the fields to help you find the user. Then press the search key to load the users matching the criteria entered. Your first name, last name, user ID, email, or active users only checkbox. From this window, you can see Test ID 1 doesn't have any roles. Double-click on Test ID 1 to edit Test ID 1's roles. At the top, you can see we are viewing Test ID 1's role. None are checked. Listed are the roles available to be assigned. To assign one or more, place a check in the checkbox next to the role you wish to add. Here, you can see that the 2 users we've added, Test ID 1, we're going to add Impact Op View User, and for Test ID 4, we'll add Impact Admin User and also Administrator. Save these roles by clicking the Save button. Here you can see I've used the last name field to help search. I typed in Impact, which pulled up 4 users. And from the users displayed, you can see the roles have been added to our 2 users, Test ID 1 and Test ID 4. Now when I log in as Test ID 1, you can see the results from the new role. From the navigation pane, this user can now view event isolation and configuration and operator views node. And here, logged in as Test ID 4, you can see the Impact Admin User role allows access to the full Netcool Impact menu navigation, and the Administrator role grants pages, portlets, and views under the Settings node, and manage users and manage groups, which is under the Users and Groups node. This completes the Assigning Roles task. Now let's look at assigning page access. Our two users, Test ID 1 and Test ID 4, need access to custom operator view pages and portlets. The next two sections will go into detail on how to assign these access levels. If you need help understanding how to display custom operator view pages, see my other video under IBM CNSI NetCool Support's YouTube channel called How to Display and Impact Custom Operator View in TIP. TIP has security on pages, portlets, and other TIP resources. Access levels to these resources can be assigned to roles, not user IDs directly, but to roles, which means the access level that a role has to a resource determines the actions that users within that role can perform on a resource. The table displayed explains the details. So, for a given resource, which are listed on the left, like portlet and page, requires roles to be granted to access levels listed along the top, users, or user, privileged user, or editor, because without access, users cannot use or even see these resources. A user gives a role the access level to view and interact with portlets and the ability to see and launch a page. The privileged user adds the ability to edit personal settings on a portlet, and an editor grants the ability to edit global settings on a portlet and edit the contents and layout of a page. Here we see a listing in the navigational panel that was not listed for either of our two users. The custom page called Custom Impact OP View Page. The end result of granting the needed access level to both a custom page and portlet will show this result when our new users log in again. Here, logged in as TIP admin, I can see the custom page, Custom Impact Op View page. I can launch it, and notice also that once the custom page is launched, I can see the custom operator view portlet called Custom OP View Test. Let's begin with this task to assign to page access. Under Settings, select Pages. To open the Pages window on the right, you also see a list of available pages displayed. Here, I've used the help of the search field to find our custom page in the list. It pulled up two possible choices, and I know it was listed under the Settings folder, so after opening the Settings, I can see and select the custom page to edit, which is Custom Impact OP View Page. If I double-click, the General Properties page opens. We need to edit the roles with access to this page section. You can see the only role listed is the IS admins, and the access level granted is the editor. Select the Add button to edit. The Add button opens the available roles page, and here you can see the list of choices to choose from. Using the search field to filter the list, I can now see the impact roles. I'll select the Impact Op View user. This will make the Add button available, and after checking on Add, It will bring me back to the General Properties page under the Roles and Access to this page section, where I can see the Impact OpView user role was added. Now I need to select from the list of access levels. I'll select User and then select the Add button again to grab the other impact role. Now I have two impact roles, and for Impact Admin User I granted Editor access level. The last thing to do is save the page settings. Now when I log in as Test ID 1, I can see Custom Impact OpView page listed in the navigational pane. I can also launch the custom page as Test ID 1, and I can see the custom portlet in the custom page. However, when I try to edit the custom portlet, I do not have access to either personal or global settings. If I log in as Test ID 4, I can see and launch the custom page, Custom Impact OpView page, but notice the portlet does not display. This brings us to the final task in this video: assigning portlet access. Again, logged in as TipAdmin, and back under the Settings folder, select Portlets to open the Portlet window on the right. A list of portlets is displayed. Again, using the search filter to find the custom portlet we need to edit, which is Custom OpView Test, and then double-click on this portlet once selected. This opens the Portlet Wizard, and you can see it's the custom portlet we picked, and we're going to click Next. And here we'll click Next again. Then on the security page of Edit the Portlet, this is where we make the changes. Currently, the only role that has any access level granted is the Impact OpView user role. This is why user Test ID 1 could see the custom portlet, and also because this role is only at the user level. This is why Test ID 1 could not edit the portlet. If I open the privileged user level, there's no role granted. This level allows the ability to edit personal settings. For example, I might want to grant the role Impact Full Access User to this access level. The editor level, this is the level I need Test ID 4 to have. So I'll move Impact Admin User from the available roles using the Add button to place it under the editor. Here you can see Impact Admin User was moved under Editor. Under Manager level, you can leave this blank or move Administrator role under the Manager. Once finished making changes to the access levels, click Next. And Next again, until you reach the summary page where you click Finish to save the new access levels. Logged in as Test ID 4, when I launch the custom page, I can now see the custom portlet, Custom OpView Test. I also have access to edit personalized settings or global settings, which are called Edit Shared Settings, for this custom portlet. Let's start with the personalized settings. For this portlet, there are not any personalized settings available to edit, but you can see the URL used to launch the custom operator view. You just can't change it. Now, if I go back to select the Edit Shared Settings for Test ID 4, I can edit the title of the portlet, the home page, and a few others. If any changes are made, don't forget to select Save to hold the changes for the custom portlet. This completes the assigned Portlet access and concludes the video on how to grant and limit user access to work with impact operator views. It provided examples on creating users, assigning roles, and granting access to custom page and portlets required to work with impact operator views.